And welcome to Ducks No Spores. This week, it's my fifth installment of my NFL previews. Today, we take on the competitive division of the NFC East. Should be good with a lot of teams at division who have a real shot at the Super Bowl. But, of course, we're going to start with the champs. Just not the NFC champs, but the Super Bowl champs. The New York Giants. Coming off a great year, of course. Maybe not a great year, an up and down year, but at the end of the day, they were Super Bowl champions. And of course, the biggest question going the year has to be, can they repeat as champions? Last year, not to say it was a fluke they won the Super Bowl last year, but they caught a lot of teams in the playoffs at great times. They caught the Falcons at a good time. They caught the Packers, and the Packers at the worst time of the year. They caught a young, inexperienced 49er team, and they caught the Patriots, who at the end of the day weren't as good as we thought they were. But that being said, though, you could say they caught a lot of teams at the right time, but really, at the end of the day, most Super Bowl champions, you could say the same way. You catch teams, that's how you win championships. You catch teams at the right time. And that's what they did. And they still have a great year coming in this year. A big question mark going to last year had to be Eli Manning. Was he an elite QB? I still don't think he's elite QB, but I'll say he's a good QB, maybe second tier QB. With the Phillip Rivers and the Matt Ryans and the Tony Romo's kind of in that realm. Good QBs, but not great QBs. But to Eli Manning's success last year, there was a lot to do with the emergence of Victor Cruz and Hakeem Nicks. These guys are back. They're a great duo in the NFL. I still expect them to be a good duo with Eli Manning, improving every year. I really like this offense going forward. Running the ball has been an issue the last couple of years. They did great in the playoffs. Brandon Jacobs, not there anymore. So they'll have to replace him. But this team is looking, on offense, looking pretty good. But a bigger question mark on the team has to be their defense. Besides, Jason Pierre-Paul, who is a great pass rusher, maybe one of the best pass rushers in the league, but besides that, not really much there. The linebacker core, kind of weak. Defensive backfield, getting older, not as good. OC's not the same OC. Can't play every down now. He's not that kind of player anymore. He's just worn out because he's old. And with this Giant team, it was a great Cinderella type last year, up and down the whole year, looked good to start, then went kind of downhill, then caught on fire at the end of the year, and put just enough pieces together to win the Super Bowl. But I just believe this year is going to be a little different because now they're going to have that target on their back, being the champs, and I just believe that it's just on the cards this year for the New York Giants, and I think they may even miss the playoffs this coming year. And our next team, America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Biggest question going in, has the window of opportunity closed on the Dallas Cowboys to win a Super Bowl? What I mean by that is, think about Tony Romo getting older, DeMarcus Ware getting older, still a beast, but getting older. Jason Witten getting older. These have been three of their keys to success the last few years. And I just believe they have a few young stars in there, but I just believe the Dallas Cowboys had a great opportunity a couple years ago when they had T.O. and things were rolling. I really thought they had a real shot at the Super Bowl. But these guys, Tony Romo to me is the most overrated guy in the NFL. I mean, good for him, an undrafted guy, but still, he is not an elite guy. He will probably never win a Super Bowl. Jason Witten has fallen off production-wise the last few years. And DeMarcus Ware is still probably a top 10 player in the league. Well, that being said, though, he's just getting older, and there's other great pass rushers on the way up. And I just believe that the window of opportunity, your window of opportunity to win in the NFL is, so small. You have to grab it. You can't take anything for granted. And unfortunately for the Cowboys, they've taken it for granted. Tony Romo, they thought, we'll be around forever. But the window is so small to win, you cannot take anything for granted. And that's what Dallas did. I think at the end of the day, it's going to bite them in the behind. And another question going into the season has to be, of course, the Des Bryant situation. Of course, a couple weeks, about a month ago, got the call about beating up his mother. You know, not good. Not good. There's always been controversy around this kid coming in to his NFL career. I like Des Bryant. Until that incident a month ago, but I really like Des Bryant. The crap he went through in college wasn't even his fault. We won't dive into that situation because we'll be here all day. But, you know, I really like Des Bryant. I think he's a good kid. He's a good receiver. He's had a good start to his career. Last year had a breakout year. Des Bryant's a good receiver. But it's just this off-season junk that just seems to follow him like a dark cloud all the time. And after a while, great talent, great receiver, may even take him on my team. But at the end of the day, you have to ask the question, is he worth the trouble? Is Des Bryant worth the trouble? That's what it comes down to. And maybe at the end of the year, maybe Dallas say no, it's not worth the trouble, and they may even cut him. Fortunately, because I really like Des Bryant. And of course, another issue with the Cowboys here has to be with their coach. You know, Jason Garrett has been a solid coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Really turned them when Wade Phillips the last 2 years been really good, way better than Wade was. And the question is, though, man, it's like if you don't make the playoffs for 3 straight years, you're not going to keep your job under Jerry Jones. That's just how that works. And I just believe all the pressure this year, there's going to be a fire under this guy's ass the whole year. And I just believe with all these issues I just said, with Tony Romo getting older, Marcus Ware getting older, you know, Jason Witten getting older, this Des Bryant situation, coach, a defense, an aging defense, an offense who can run the ball effectively, but they don't want to run the ball. That's the thing with Dallas Cowboys. They have really good running backs, but they don't want to run the ball. If they don't run the ball, you're not going to be successful. And I just got to say it, the Dallas Cowboys are going to miss the playoffs for another year in 2012. Moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, question going in there, can they rebound after a disappointing, I'll say disappointing year, not a horrible year, a disappointing year. Because when you throw out the term dream team and you suck, maybe wasn't the wisest thing last year, but that was last year, and this is this year, a whole new year. And the Philadelphia Eagles, for my money, one of the best teams in the NFL, as far as talent-wise. I mean, Mike Vick, Jackson, McCoy, you know, Macklin. You know, they got some Asamoah on defense. You know, Trent Cole on defense. Some really good players all around. Very, very good, talented team. But the question with this guy is talent doesn't win games. You don't win games on paper. Players win games, not talent. Talent, you have to have talent to win, but you have to come together to win games. And that's something the Philadelphia Eagles just haven't been able to do the last couple of years. And for this team to be successful, Mike Vick has to go back to being the MVP type old Mike Vick that we saw in Atlanta. Because that's the Mike Vick you're not going to win. Last year's Mike Vick being in and out of the lineup, complaining about stuff. That's not going to win you championships. That's not going to win you games. That's not going to get you to the playoffs as you saw last year. But on offense, this is an explosive offense that can score anytime they want. From like Michael Vick, who can beat you with his arms and his legs. Still remember, he might be over 30, but Michael Vick can still run. You know, Jackson, Sean Jackson, one of the best receivers in the league, one of the biggest morons in the league too, but is a really talented guy. Macklin on the other side, very talented as well. McCoy in the backfield really came out of his bubble last year, really had a breakout year last year, and was turning into one of the best running backs in the league. Very talented on offense, but we didn't have questions about their offense last year because they still put up points last year. We had questions with their defense last year. Yes, they have some good pieces like Asamoah. Had a bad year last year, but for my money, is still like top corner of the league. I don't know, he's not the best corner in the league, but top 5 corner of the league still. You know, you have Trent Cole rushing, who is like one of the most hardworking players in the league. And they had no linebackers last year. Their linebacking core was a mess. And really, that's your key to your defense right there, because they're the real leaders out there on defense. They're pointing out where to go and stuff. They're like the middle linebackers, like your QB. And they brought a great one in the offseason in D'Amico Ryans from the Texans. A very, very good linebacker. Love the move. I think it will really elevate the Eagles to be a championship caliber team. I think will tighten up that defense and become a very, very good defense. I really like the move. I believe with D'Amico Ryans there, I think he'll get stuff figured out on defense. And on the offense, like, just do what you do. Just do what you do. Mike Vick, if Mike Vick goes back, the old Mike Vick, this team is going to be explosive and will score at any point of the time. We have to stay healthy. Of course, in the preseason game last night, got hurt. Hopefully he's okay, because I'm a big Mike Vick fan. But I believe the Philadelphia Eagles, with all this talent, after a while, I've said talent doesn't win games, but after a while, they're just too damn talented not to win games. That's what it comes down to. You're just too talented not to win games. And I believe the Philadelphia Eagles are a Super Bowl caliber team if it all comes together, and I believe it will come together this year, because I love the Philadelphia Eagles going into this season. And our final team, the Washington Redskins, one of the most functional teams for the last decade or so. Since what, like the 80s? They've been good since like the 80s or early 90s. Of course, the biggest question coming in the year: can Robert Griffin III live up to the hype he's getting billed as? Of course, everybody knows he's the second pick after Andrew Luck in the draft. Won the Heisman last year. Really has I'll say has the Cam Newton effect, which is he can beat you with his legs and his arm. Now, his arm isn't that consistent in college. I didn't like his arm consistency. But, man, he's so fast and he can really break down defenses fast. Kind of like a young Mike Vick. Maybe not as talented as Mike Vick, but like a young Mike Vick. And probably not as talented as Cam Newton. But a very good QB, to say the least. And I really think this kid, I've loved this kid ever since his interviews. I just like this kid. I think he has a bright future in the league. But that being said, his offense, except for Cooley and Fred Davis on tight ends, not much there. With receivers, running back, not much there. On defense, they have an alright defense, but an aging defense. I believe the Washington Redskins are on the up. I mean, they got off to a good start last year. They were a really good team at the start of the season, but then fell off, became the Washington Redskins. They have a really good coach, Mike Shanahan. I mean, I know he's had a bad 2 years, but Mike Shanahan's a really, really good coach. And I think with RG3 there, now we can see something. Now there's a future. Now we can see something. There's a future there now. This isn't just the old, okay, let's get these scraps and be our QB, what they've done for the last, 10 years or so. Now they have a young stud in there. Now they're a future. Like I said, they have a future now. You can see bright things in the future. I believe RG3 is going to have a great NFL career. I don't think he's going to have a good year this year, as I think the Washington Redskins are just too far behind everybody else in this division. And I just think the Redskins are going to have a bad year. But the future is looking up in Washington. All right, now it comes down to who wins the division? Who wins the NFC East? Who wins competitive divisions year in, year out? I gotta go with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I just love the Eagles going this year. I really believe if the Eagles bowl out and play the way they can play, they are Super Bowl bound. I really love the Philadelphia Eagles going to this upcoming year. All right, that's it for the NFC East, but my next preview will be the NFC North. Should be great. Packers, Bears, Detroit Lions, and the Minnesota Vikings. But should be a great one. But till next time, I'm Aaron Duxbury saying, I'm Dux, and I know sports. Kind of.